Official methods. Number 1. Oral contraceptive. Oral contraceptives, also called birth control pills, are one of the most popular forms of birth control used today. These oral contraceptives work by inhibiting ovulation and are considered to be safe when used properly. Some advantages of the pill include it does not interrupt sex, it usually makes your bleeds regular, lighter, and less painful. It reduces your risk of the cancer of the ovaries, womb, and colon. The most common side effects are spotting or bleeding between periods. This is more common with progesterone-only pills, sore breasts, nausea, or headaches, but these usually go away after 2 or 3 months, and they don't happen to everyone who takes the pill. The most common adverse effect of combined oral contraceptive pills is breakthrough bleeding. Women will also complain of nausea, headaches, abdominal cramping, breast tenderness, and increased vaginal discharge or decreased libido. Nausea can be avoided by taking the medication at night before sleep.
Number 2. Transdermal patch.
A transdermal patch is a patch that attaches to your skin and contains medication. The drug from the patch is absorbed into your body over a period of time. If you'd rather not have a pill or an injection, a patch may be a more comfortable option for taking some medication. A transdermal patch acts as a carrier for drug, holding it until it's applied. At the point of application, the patch adhesive secures it to the skin, and the drugs contained in the patch will begin to permeate into the bloodstream. Transdermal delivery offers several benefits over oral delivery, including smooth, continuous drug delivery, increased bioavailability, and reduced drug-drug interactions. Patches can be easily applied by the caregiver, and they provide a visual cue that the medication has been administered. Disadvantages: it may be visible, it can cause skin irritation, itching, and soreness. It doesn't protect you against STIs, so you may need to use condoms as well. A rash after applying the patch is usually caused by a mild reaction to the adhesive that keeps the patch in place. Some people may be more sensitive to it than others. Putting the patch over damp, already irritated, or broken skin can make a rash and irritation more likely. 3. Vaginal ring. The vaginal ring is a small soft plastic ring that plays in your vagina. It releases a spontaneous dose of the hormones estrogen and progestogen into the bloodstream to prevent pregnancy. To use a vaginal ring, you squish the ring and insert it into your vagina, like inserting a tampon. It stays in your vagina for 3 weeks. You then take it and throw it away and wait 7 days before inserting a new ring. If used correctly, the vaginal ring is more than 99% effective. One ring provides contraception for a month, so you don't have to think about it every day. You can continue to have sex when the ring is in place. Unlike the pill, the ring still works if you have sickness or diarrhea. Disadvantages: you may not feel comfortable inserting or removing it from your vagina. You can have spotting and bleeding in the first few months. It may cause temporary side effects such as increased vaginal discharge, headaches, nausea, breast tenderness, and mood changes. Number 4. Subdermal implants. Subdermal contraceptive implants involve the delivery of a steroid progestin from polymer capsules or rods placed under the skin. The hormone diffuses out slowly at a stable rate, providing contraceptive effectiveness for 1 to 5 years. The period of protection depends upon the specific progestin and the type of polymer. The contraceptive implant is inserted beneath the skin of the upper arm. The implant releases a progestational hormone to prevent sperm from reaching the egg. The implant typically suppresses ovulation as well. You can have a contraceptive implant inserted during a visit to your healthcare provider's office. Advantages: it works for 3 years, it doesn't interrupt sex. It's an option if you can't use estrogen-based contraception, such as the combined contraceptive pill, contraceptive patch, or vaginal ring. Disadvantages: you may experience temporary side effects during the first few months, like headaches, nausea, breast tenderness, and mood swings. Your periods may be irregular or stop altogether. You may get acne, or your acne might get worse. Nausea, stomach cramping or bloating, dizziness, headache, breast tenderness, acne, hair loss, weight gain, and vaginal irritation or discharge may occur. Pain, bruising, numbness, infection, and scarring may occur at the site where the rod is placed. Number 5. Hormonal injections. The contraceptive injection prevents pregnancy by injecting a synthetic version of the hormone progestogen, called diphenhydroxyprogesterone acetate or DMPA. The injection is also called DEPO. DEPO prevents the body from producing its own hormones and releasing eggs from the ovaries. The hormonal contraceptive injection releases the hormone progestogen into your bloodstream to prevent pregnancy. By steadily releases the hormone progestogen into your bloodstream, the injection prevents the release of an egg each month. It also thickens the cervical mucus, which makes it difficult for sperm to move through the cervix and thins the lining of the womb, so a fertilized egg is less likely to implant itself. Lasts for between 8 to 13 weeks, depending on the brand. You do not have to think about contraception as long as the injection lasts. May reduce heavy, painful periods for some women. Some people struggle with weight gain. Period may stop being irregular or last longer. Periods and fertility may take some time to return to normal after stopping the injections.
6. Intrauterine device. An IUD is a small, T-shaped device made from flexible plastic and is used to prevent pregnancy. There are 5 kinds of IUDs, and all are more than 99% effective. The doctor will put the IUD in a small tube that they'll insert into your vagina. They'll move the tube up through the cervix and into the uterus. Then they'll push the IUD out of the tube and pull the tube out. It protects against pregnancy for 5 or 10 years, depending on the type. Once an IUD is fitted, it works straight away. Most people with a womb can use it. There are no hormonal side effects, such as acne, headaches, or breast tenderness. Disadvantages: your periods may become heavier, longer, or more painful. Though this may improve after a few months, it does not protect against STIs, so you may need to use condoms as well. If you get an infection when you have an IUD fitted, it could lead to a pelvic infection if not treated. Irregular periods, heavier or longer periods, more or worse cramping during your periods, pain when your IUD is put in, and cramping or backaches a few days after. Number 7. Chemical barriers. Chemical barriers or spermicides are sperm-killing substances available as foams, creams, gels, films, or suppositories, which are often used in female contraception in conjunction with mechanical barriers and other devices. Spermicides are usually available without a prescription or medical examination. What are the disadvantages of barrier methods of birth control? These methods do not prevent pregnancy as well as IUDs or hormonal forms of birth control. Barrier methods prevent pregnancy only if you use them every time you have sex. You may have to interrupt sex to use some barrier methods of birth control. Barrier methods of birth control prevent pregnancy by blocking sperm. This stops the sperm from reaching an egg. Types of barrier methods include condoms, diaphragm, cervical cups, and the contraceptive sponge. Barrier methods work better when you use them with a spermicide. 8. Diaphragm. The diaphragm is a barrier method of birth control. It is moderately effective with 1-year failure rate of around 12% with typical use. It is placed over the cervix with spermicide before sex and left in place for at least 6 hours after sex. Fitting by a healthcare provider is generally required. It fits inside your vagina and prevents sperm passing through the cervix, the entrance of your womb. You need to use it with a gel that kills sperm, spermicide. You only have to use a diaphragm or cup when you have sex, but you must leave it in for at least 6 hours after the last time you had sex. Advantages of diaphragm or cup. You only need to use a diaphragm or cup when you want to have sex. You can put it in at a convenient time before having sex. Use extra spermicide if you have it in for more than 3 hours. There are usually no serious associated health risks or side effects. Disadvantages of diaphragm or cup. It's not as effective as other types of contraception, and it depends on you remembering to use it and using it correctly. It does not provide reliable protection against STIs. It can take time to learn how to use it. Most young women who use a diaphragm have no problems with it, but possible side effects include from the spermicide, irritation of the vagina and surrounding skin, or an allergic reaction, strong odors, or vaginal discharge if the diaphragm is left in too long. 9. Cervical cup. The FemCup works as a method of birth control by creating a physical barrier against sperm. It is a reusable, FDA-approved, non-hormonal, and latex-free birth control device. The small silicone cap fits over the cervix, creating a barrier that prevents sperm from entering the cervix and uterus. If combined with spermicidal gel placed on the outside rim of the cup, it is also a chemical barrier as well as a physical barrier to sperm, decreasing the chance of sperm entering the cervix and uterus. The FemCup also has a tab to aid in removal. FemCups require a prescription in the United States. Advantages: unlike the diaphragm, the cervical cup protects against pregnancy for 2 days and for multiple acts of intercourse within that time frame. When placed appropriately, the cervical cup is often not felt by either partner during sexual intercourse. Most girls who use the cervical cup have no problems, but possible side effects may include from the spermicide, irritation of the vagina and surrounding skin, or an allergic reaction. Strong odors or vaginal discharge if the cup is left it too long. 10. Male condoms. A male condom is worn on the penis. It is usually made of latex, a type of rubber, but some are made of materials that are safe for people with latex allergies, such as polyurethane or polyisoprene. Hold the tip of the condom between your finger and thumb to make sure it's put on the right way around and no air is trapped inside. The condom may split if air is trapped inside. Place the condom over the tip of your penis. While squeezing the tip of the condom, roll it down over the length of your erect penis. Some advantages of using condoms. When used correctly and consistently, they are a reliable method of preventing pregnancy and protecting both partners from STIs, including chlamydia, gonorrhea, and HIV. Some people are embarrassed to use condoms or feel they may interrupt foreplay or intercourse. Both partners must be comfortable with using a condom and be prepared to use one every time they have sex. Condoms may decrease sexual sensation. Some people are allergic to latex, rubber. Condoms may break or leak. Most people can use condoms with no problem. There are no side effects. Rarely, latex. Condoms can cause irritation for people with latex allergies or sensitivities. And sometimes the lube on certain types of condoms may be irritating. 11. Female condoms. The female condom protects against pregnancy. It also protects against infectious spread during sexual contact, including HIV. However, it is not thought to work as well as male condoms in protecting against sexually transmitted infections, or STIs. The female condom is made of a thin, strong plastic called polyurethane. A newer version, which costs less, is made of substance called nitrile. This condom fits inside the vagina. The condom has a ring on each end. The ring that is placed inside the vagina fits over the cervix and covers it with the rubber material. Advantages: female condoms help to protect both partners from STIs, including HIV. When used correctly, they are a reliable method of preventing pregnancy. It's a form of contraception you only need to use when you have to sex. Disadvantage of female condoms: they can slip out of place during sex, they can irritate your or your partner's skin, they might make the sensation of sex less intense, they're slightly less effective at preventing pregnancy and STDs than male condoms. Female condoms help to protect both partners from STIs, including HIV. When used correctly, they are a reliable method of preventing pregnancy. It's a form of contraception you only need to use when you have sex. There are no serious side effects. 12. Surgical methods. Surgical methods are sterilization procedures. Female sterilization is done by one of several methods such as laparotomy, mini laparotomy, laparoscopy, coldotomy, coldoscopy, and hysteroscopy. Male sterilization or vasectomy involves cutting and tying of the vas deferens. It is a very effective and permanent method of contraception. It does not affect sex drive. It doesn't interfere with spontaneity of sexual intercourse. There are no effect on your normal hormonal rhythms or periods. Some of the disadvantages of surgical sterilization include the following. It requires surgery, usually under a general anesthetic. There is a risk, albeit low, of surgical complications such as internal bleeding, infection, or damage to other organs. 3. Natural methods. 1. Abstinence. Abstinence is simply not having sexual intercourse. If you're abstinent, it means you've decided not to have sex. This includes vaginal, oral, and anal sex. Abstinence prevents pregnancy by not giving the opportunity for semen to enter the vagina. A sperm can fertilize an egg if you don't have intercourse. What are the benefits of abstinence? Prevent pregnancy, prevent STDs, wait until they're ready for sexual relationship, wait to find the right partner, have fun with romantic partners without sexual involvement, focus on school, career, or extracurricular activities. Disadvantages of abstinence. Experience shows that even people committed to abstinence may unexpectedly have sex and may not be prepared to protect themselves from pregnancy and STIs. Many people may find it difficult to maintain the abstinence over the long term.
When sexual abstinence is involuntary, some individuals may feel negative effects on their mental health. Conversely, people who do not feel a sexual desire may find these feelings distressing. Not having sex when in a relationship can make a person feel insecure or anxious. 2. Calendar method. The rhythm method, also called the calendar method or the calendar rhythm method, is a form of natural family planning. To use the rhythm method, you track your menstrual history to prevent when you ovulate. This helps you determine when you're most likely to conceive. Advantages: most useful when combined with basal temperature or cervical mucus method. Inexpensive. Disadvantages: not very reliable, requires accurate record keeping, requires compliance with abstinence during the fertile periods. Risk: pregnancy, ovulation time can change, STIs. 3. Basal body temperature. Your basal body temperature is your temperature when you're fully at rest. Ovulation may cause a slight increase in basal body temperature. You'll be most fertile during the 2 to 3 days before your temperature rises. By tracking your basal body temperature each day, you may be able to predict when you'll ovulate. Basal body temperature can be used as a way to predict fertility or as a part of a method of contraception by helping you gauge the best days to have or avoid unprotected sex. Tracking your basal body temperature for either fertility or contraception is inexpensive and doesn't have any side effects. Advantages: inexpensive, convenient, no side effects. Disadvantages: reliability can be influenced by many variables: stress, fatigue, illness, alcohol, warm or coolness of sleeping environment. Risk: pregnancy. 4. Cervical mucus method. The cervical mucus method, also called the Billings ovulation method, is a natural form of birth control that focuses on the mucus patterns during the menstrual cycle. Now, you might be thinking, ew, gross mucus. But don't worry, every woman produces this mucus and it isn't gross at all. You probably have already seen it in your underwear at some point. By looking at the mucus produced during your cycle, you can predict when ovulation is occurring. This is helpful if you are trying to get pregnant and also if you are trying to avoid pregnancy. Advantages: self-evaluation can be very accurate. Self-evaluation can be diagnostically helpful. Start of ovulation while breastfeeding, commencement of menopause, planning to share pregnancy. Disadvantages: uncomfortable touching genitals and mucus, doesn't protect from STIs. Risk: inaccurate if mixed with semen, blood, contraceptive foams, or discharge from infections. Pregnancy. 5. Symptothermal method. The symptothermal method, STM, typically first natural form of birth control. It involves determining the few days during a woman's menstrual cycle that she can conceive and then avoiding sexual intercourse on those days. STM determines the fertile days in 2 ways: noticing fertility symptoms, the symptom part, and measuring a woman's basal body temperature to determine ovulation, the thermal part. However, the same techniques can also be used to determine when the best time of the month is to attempt to get pregnant. Symptothermal method, a fertility awareness method used to predict when a woman might be fertile. The method uses body temperature and other signs and symptoms of ovulation. The symptothermal method has a significant advantage in effectiveness because it combines the calendar, cervical mucus, and temperature methods. However, this technique shares the same disadvantages that each of these techniques has individually. Disadvantages of the method are that intercourse must be restricted to only 7 to 13 days of the cycle. Women must take their temperature daily. The method cannot be used during fever episodes, and the method is inappropriate for use during lactation or near menopause. Both these methods are associated with side effects, particularly in combination with other medication and tobacco, and health complications including mood changes, acne, headache, breast tenderness, pelvic pain, excessive bleeding, amenorrhea, nausea, weight gain, and uncommonly blood clots. 6. Ovulation detection. There are several ways to detect ovulation, including urine test kits to measure LH levels, transvaginal ultrasound, endometrial biopsy, blood tests to measure hormone levels, and the basal body temperature chart. Advantages: ovulation test kits may be beneficial if you have slightly irregular periods or find other periods of tracking your fertility difficult or unreliable. Disadvantages: ovulation test kits can be expensive and there are no guarantees. Coitus interruptus. This is the most common method used by couples who are not ready for a baby. In withdrawal, The man removes his penis out of the female's vagina before the moment he is ready to ejaculate. Yes, that make it obvious that he does not ejaculate inside the vagina so that his sperms do not get inside the female body. Thus, there is no chance of pregnancy. This method of contraception works for only 22% safe out of 100%. It is not a very reliable method though, but works 2 couples out of 5. Coitus interruptus, also known as withdrawal, is a traditional family planning method in which the man completely removes his penis from the vagina and away from the external genitalia of the female partner before he ejaculates. Some of benefits of coitus interruptus are that the method, if used correctly, does not affect breastfeeding and is always available for primary use or use as a backup method. In addition, coitus interruptus involves no economic cost or use of chemicals and has no directly associated health risks. Coitus interruptus does not protect against sexually transmitted diseases or STDs, including human immunodeficiency virus or HIV. A woman using this method should be counseled that consistent and correct use of the male latex condom reduces the risk for transmission of HIV and other STDs. Risks: using the withdrawal method to prevent pregnancy doesn't pose any direct risks, but it doesn't offer protection from sexually transmitted infections. Some couples also feel that the withdrawal method disrupts sexual pleasure.